Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
A police report is now being filed in a case that involves the Bexar County Sheriff, the judge, a county commissioner, and the owner of a local coffee company.
And now in this story, there are two letters, one from Judge Nelson Wolff to the sheriff, and then today a second letter from the coffee company owner to Judge Wolff. And at the heart of this issue is a boat. One boat. Courtney Friedman spoke to Precinct 3 Commissioner Trish DeBerry, who said her family's safety has been threatened.
At a commissioner's court meeting in April, Sheriff Javier Salazar requested a new boat for the department. Precinct 3 Commissioner Trish DeBerry said she wouldn't approve it without more details about cost and maintenance. Upset by DeBerry's response, Black Rifle coffee shop owner and BCSO donor Jared Taylor took to his personal Instagram page. The post elicited hundreds of comments that Judge Nelson Wolff called sexist, vile, and harassing.
Came across some of the really, really bad ones. I can't repeat it here.
DeBerry said commenters threatened her and her family.
We're coming after you. You better watch your back. That kind of stuff, does give you pause for concern, especially when I have teenage children who are at home.
That's why she says she started the process of filing a police report. In a letter to Judge Wolff today, Jared Taylor wrote, "I will agree the public backlash against Trish was strong and in some cases used language I would not have used. However, your beef there is with the commenters, not me or my company," end quote. DeBerry is taking that into consideration, saying she's still figuring out details of who the report will name.
I'm talking to the criminal investigator with the district attorney's office, so by the time I file the report, there will be, an entity or a person.
Yesterday, Sheriff Salazar's statement mentioned a strongly worded letter Wolff wrote him, bashing his silence on the Instagram comments, saying, "I've received Judge Wolff's correspondence and understand his stance. The first I saw of any specific comments regarding this issue were ones apparently cut and pasted into Judge Wolff's letter," end quote. Salazar was not available today for an updated response.
In Sheriff Salazar's statement, he does say he still plans to bring that proposal to Commissioner's Court, but right now we don't have a date or timeline for when that will happen. Reporting from downtown, Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
New at 6, 4 new members joined the San Antonio City Council today. Mario Bravo, Jalen McKee Rodriguez, Phyllis Villagran, and Terry Castillo were sworn in after winning their June 5th runoff election. Garrett Berger talked with them about the road ahead.
It was a day of smiles for the 4 newest council members, but also of a new weight on their shoulders.
The people who share their stories with me on the doors, I feel the urgency, that sense of urgency that we felt during the campaign. It's all coming back.
District 1's Mario Bravo and District 2's Jalen McKee Rodriguez beat out incumbents for their spots, while Terry Castillo in District 5 and Phyllis Villagran in District 3 replaced councilwomen who reached their 4-term limits. Villagran is replacing her own sister, whose staff is staying on with her.
They have institutional knowledge and relationships with the neighbors, and that connection is going to be key as we move forward and we get them to come out of the isolation and use their voice.
The new members bring in their own ideas for changing the city.
There's a model in Denver, Colorado that exists. It's an independent oversight department that supports the community when there's excessive use of force incidents.
But also a focus on the perennial issues of local government.
Every other block within District 5 needs some type of improvement, whether it's drainage, sidewalks, or streets.
There'll be no shortage of issues for them to tackle as they settle into their roles. Next year's trial budget will be discussed tomorrow. The city's also negotiating a new, highly watched police contract, and the upcoming 5-year bond program could mean getting money for big projects in their districts. And the work starts now.
Though all of the council members are already sworn in, they are back here again in city chambers for an inauguration ceremony, basically the pomp and circumstance welcoming the new council together. Their first meeting together will be tomorrow over at City Hall. Live in council chambers, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thanks, Garrett. A man evicted from his home is tonight in the Bexar County Jail, accused of trying to set fire to that home in retaliation. Katrina Weber reports police say he also attacked the man who recorded him doing it.
Within just a few days of being put out of his home, 24-year-old Kevin Rodriguez has found himself in jail. He was arrested yesterday in connection with a case that began with a house fire last week. An arrest affidavit says Rodriguez was evicted by his roommate, then showed back up last Wednesday at the home in the 500 block of Morningview Drive. It says he began setting fire to items in the backyard and threw one of them through a back window. Arson investigators also found a piece of plywood on a front window that had been burned. It was still there today. The charges against Rodriguez, though, don't end there. The affidavit says another man here was recording the whole thing on his cell phone. He told police that Rodriguez tried to take his phone, and when he didn't hand it over, he says he hit him on his arm with a sledgehammer. The man told police that Rodriguez took off with his phone. Paramedics were called to treat that victim's injuries. Witnesses, meanwhile, identified Rodriguez as the suspect. While the damage to the home appears to be minor, he's facing major charges, arson and robbery. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
We now know the name of a woman who was hit and killed by a car trying to cross I-10 this past Friday. The medical examiner's office identifying her as 40-year-old Elaine Knapp. Police say she was killed when she tried to cross I-10 near Days of Allah around 12:30 on Friday morning. Officers say the driver who hit Knapp was driving home from work when she stepped in front of his car. Neither the driver or his passenger saw her in time to avoid her. Knapp died at the scene. No charges are expected for the driver, who officers say stopped and tried to help.
The smokestacks at the quarry will be aglow in purple tonight and for the rest of the week. They are a reminder that today has been World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, part of a month-long observance. Adult Protective Services reports a slight decrease in the cases in South Texas during the pandemic since many elders were in self-isolation. But now those case numbers are climbing back up to pre-COVID levels. Jesse DeGollado now with a rare look at a visit between a caseworker and the client he's been helping.
As a caseworker with Adult Protective Services, Joseph Rodriguez is doing what many others probably couldn't handle. And yet,
I absolutely love what I do on a daily basis. First things first, we're Adult Protective Services. And
speaking to clients like Margaret Martinez.
Hearing their backstories, hearing, their life, what they need help with, connecting with them. I see your grass is cut again.
Rodriguez started with Adult Protective Services after earning a degree, not in social work, but criminal justice. And given what he does now,
you have heated water, your water heater's working good. We are investigators first. You have a lot of food, good job.
Concern for Margaret Martinez's well-being is why APS got involved. She, like many of their clients, was reticent at first.
Are they still helping you out?
Now she says Rodriguez treats her like family.
They are caseworkers out there like Joseph. They'll go beyond and further out for us.
If I make sure that you have utilities, I see the electricity on.
Be it groceries, medical needs, transportation, living conditions, whatever they need to safely age in their homes.
All right, y'all take care.
Rodriguez says APS is not to be feared, it's here to help, and that's where awareness is crucial.
Elder abuse is everybody's business, and we want to make sure we spread awareness.
Purple, the color that signifies elder abuse awareness. If anyone suspects an elder who is being abused, neglected, or exploited, they're urged to call the Adult Protective Services hotline at 1-800-252-5400. Jesse DeGollado, KSAT 12 News.
Check out the Trains Guide camera now with your traffic authority report. This is at 281 South at Loop 410 West. This is kind of the normal scene for this intersection. You can see even down on 410 itself, traffic is very slow going at this hour. Well, today the Archbishop of San Antonio, Gustavo Garcia Sierra, introduced a new rector of the historic San Fernando Cathedral. Father Carlos Velasquez will be the rector of the revered and much visited site in Main Plaza. He was introduced today at the cathedral and says he will seek to further its historical, cultural, and spiritual legacy.
And now it is beautiful. It is filled with color. It is filled with light. And I think that also expresses where we need to be also as a church and as a society. We need to be colorful and we need to be filled with light, just like this place is.
Father Velasquez previously served as pastor of St. Peter and Paul Church in New Braunfels. Prior to that appointment, he was pastor at Church of the Holy Spirit in San Antonio. Father Velasquez will assume his new role on July 1st.
one of the most beautiful spots in all of San Antonio. Look outside with live cam. Meantime, a little hazy from this view, but plenty of heat out there today, Adam.
Yes, we're feeling it outside, and our high temperature today, 95 degrees. That's 2 degrees above average. We've been running a little above average, but not completely abnormal for this time of year. So this is our first real exposure to a prolonged period of heat like this. So I think we're just noticing it a bit more. I mean, late April through May and even early June, we were running below average. Now that has changed a bit, and it's back to reality. Across the state, highs mostly in the 90s today, with the exception of Del Rio making it to 102 for the high temperature. Cotulla up to 98 along with Laredo, and 98 for the high in New Braunfels. Right now, we're still 102 in Del Rio, 84 though in Hondo, 89 Gonzales, and 96 in Pleasanton. A few pop-up showers, one even rogue severe storm farther southeast of San Antonio. We're going to talk more about that and some of this other activity coming right up.
Well, all of us kind of felt the mental health crisis on campus, either personally or we knew someone else who was experiencing struggles.
2 college friends say the app they created can help students suffering with mental health issues. That story next at 6.
The son took it upon himself to step outside with the victim and apparently at some point beat him into submission, and then later attached the tow rope around his waist, hooked it to the back of the truck, and drug him down the road.
The bond has been set at $1 million for a man accused of dragging his mother's boyfriend behind his truck, then burning the vehicle. The Liberty County Sheriff's Office says 36-year-old Robert Eugene Hoffpower murdered his mother's boyfriend, Ramon Rodriguez. They say the two got into a fight. Then the suspect tied Rodriguez to the back of his truck using a tow strap and dragged him for about a mile. It's unclear how Rodriguez died. The body discovered after someone reported the truck on fire. A trail of blood led back to Hoffpower's mom's house. Hoffpower is being charged with murder and abuse of a corpse.
Tonight, you'll hear from the family of Cassandra Kendrick, a 22-year-old woman who sacrificed her life to save others from drowning in the Guadalupe River. The legacy she leaves behind tonight.
New at 6, as we move out of this pandemic, we are seeing the consequences in the form of mental health issues in younger people. Many have been suffering quietly for a year or more and have not sought help because of the perceived stigma attached to mental illness. Ursula Perry with the way that some college students are trying to change that by creating a mental health check.
College campuses are a new type of hotbed these days, a place where mental health issues are on the rise. And friends Jew Pilat and Jack Cornett are trying to help. They created a gamified app called Wellnest. Its goal, to tackle mental health issues through mindfulness in a fun way.
So we think that if we can make mindfulness more fun and engaging, that it will help people actually start doing it so that they can start working on their mental health like they do their physical health.
The two work with cognitive scientists to evolve the app's features. There are things like a mood check, a daily conversation, and voice journaling.
Today I'm feeling a little anxious.
User Macriallo opens it almost daily.
I struggle with mental health on my own daily basis, and there are times that I even struggle with expressing it to other people. So Wellness offers me the space to be able to reflect and share my thoughts and emotions.
According to Inside Higher Ed, 3 in 5 students are worried about their mental health, and 6 in 10 who sought help said it was difficult to find it. The creators say Wellnest fills that void, as it is simple to open like any other app on YouTube, Netflix, and TikTok.
These people who might be struggling with just day-to-day things that everyone struggles with, our app has been able to make a big improvement in their life, make them feel better about things.
Downloading the app is free, and it's continuing to evolve because the people who created it are working with psychologists and video game makers to make sure it keeps on growing. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
Let's take a look outside with Sky 12 flying high above downtown. For anyone downtown today, you're going to want to find some shade out there.
Good advice. Torch of friendship, that statue down there, and torch is probably accurate.
It is.
When you're
For how
walking
many people are
downtown.
feeling.
I pulled a spreester today.
What?
Spent quite a bit of time outside earlier today, late morning, midday, and forgot the sunscreen, and my back of my neck's feeling a little bit right now on my collar.
Yes. That happened to me this weekend.
But it was a big life moment. My 12-year-old son learned how to mow the lawn for the first time.
Nice.
Key
Just
date.
standing there like a proud dad.
And most of the time, yes. But we all know how that goes. None of that self-propelled stuff either. This is you push, that's it. No self-propelled.
Did you get the old school, like not even a motor on it, just like the
one that cranks.
Big moment. Anyway, and then the rain came right after it. We got hit by one of those little showers. It's good. We'll have some more of those little sun showers as we get into tomorrow. We had some today. We'll talk about those. We're tracking that Gulf moisture still in the southern Gulf of Mexico. A little update and change in the potential track of that moisture, and temperature-wise, it's just staying hot. I mean, it's that time of year the heat settles in, and we just have to accept it and deal with it best as possible. All right, take a look at the radar. And look at the activity over the past 3 hours. Even in northern Bexar County, we had a few little downpours pop up. Stone Oak picked up about 1/3 of an inch. Garden Ridge area down toward Windcrest, we had a little pop-up shower. These were pretty brief, but at least they gave a few lucky folks a brief little cooling. Also, we still have these outflow boundaries out there from previous thunderstorms that have collapsed, and those can kick up a few more showers, so something to watch. And we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for Karnes City and Kennedy, and this is in Karnes County, basically central Karnes County. The worst part of this storm, just about to cross over the highway here, 181, just south of Poth, and that could have some hail up to 1 inch in diameter, maybe a quick gust of about 50 to 60 miles per hour. Not out of the question, and the activity out west generally coming to an end. So that's what we see out there right now. It's that random pop-up activity. We'll have some of that tomorrow. A lot of it today, when you look at the state, was basically from Houston to San Antonio, the hill country, then up I-10 a little closer to San Angelo. Big Blue H over the Four Corners. When it's planted right overhead, that's when it really suppresses any thunderstorm activity. But we're in this northerly flow aloft, and we get little disturbances, and we can pop these little showers periodically. And that's what we're seeing, these little convective showers popping up. They're brief, but better than nothing out there. Some maintenance rain for a few lucky folks. We're still tracking this moisture in the southern Gulf of Mexico. Water vapor imagery shows us the real moisture content of the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. And you can see a lot of it here over the Yucatan Peninsula and even out over the southern Gulf, especially some thunderstorm activity just offshore there. That's the area we are watching, and I've been talking about this for several days. We've all been talking about it here on KSAT 12, and still the indications are this moisture is going to stay just east of us. Look at Friday, 4 a.m. System coming together a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if it's a tropical depression. There's a slight chance it could actually become a low-end tropical storm and get a name. Bottom line is we're looking at rain with this system somewhere along the Gulf Coast. Right now, the most likely scenario east of San Antonio, especially Houston, all the way through New Orleans and even over toward Florida. That would be Friday through Saturday, and we are likely to stay on the dry side of that. So let's talk about the temperatures and the heat. 93 degrees right now. Dew point is 69, so obviously muggy out there, making it feel like it's 5 degrees warmer than the air temperature. We have some higher dew points. Hondo, where it just rained, 74 degrees. New Braunfels, 71. Gonzales, 74-degree dew point. Hot and sticky. But you can tell it rained in Hondo. They at least got an outflow, too. 84 degrees their temperature. Meanwhile, 94 in New Braunfels, and Kerrville's 92. And you look elsewhere, Stinson up to 98, Devine 95, Bandera 97. And we'll gradually fall through the 80s this evening. An hour or two after sunset, any shower activity should really be over with, then we'll clear out. Tomorrow, a few isolated pop-ups in the afternoon again, mid-70s at sunrise, mid-90s into the afternoon. And then we even add a few more degrees by Father's Day Sunday. We're looking at 97, and that's when we actually have the summer solstice at 10:31 p.m.
Making it official.
Party at Steve's house.
There we go.
Thanks,
All right. End of the 5 o'clock. Greg Simmons mentioned something about Cowboys camp in July. Greg?
Yeah, the good news is they're headed back to camp. The bad news is in California. The bad news is, will it include Amari Cooper right now? When we come back, we'll have details on both of these stories that are developing as we speak. And the Texas Special Olympic Games headed back to San Antonio, Morgan's Wonderland. Coming up.
Amari has the ankle that he's still working through. He won't participate the rest of the mini camp, and I'm just hopeful he'll be ready for training camp.
Well, that statement by head coach Mike McCarthy has most of us believing the Cowboys may kick off training camp next month without their star wide receiver in big board sports.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Amari Cooper has yet to participate in any offseason activities. Now, according to his head coach, there's a real possibility he will now miss the starting training camp slated to start next month on July 20th. Cooper is the Cowboys' $100 million wide receiver, slated to count $22 million against the cap for the Cowboys this coming season. He was the Cowboys' leading wide receiver last season, even with the loss of Dak Prescott, hauling in 92 receptions for over 1,100 yards and 5 touchdowns. He appeared in all 16 games for the Cowboys last season, but then on January the 7th, posted a picture of his leg having undergone successful surgery. Now we learn it was so-called cleanup procedure on his ankle. But again, no timetable has been given for his return. The other question since minicamp ended is where will training camp be held this year after the COVID-19 pandemic shut down California last summer? The Cowboys announcing today that they will return to Oxnard to host their 2021 training camp beginning on July 21st at their hotel headquarters in California. This will be the Cowboys' 42nd year the Cowboys have trained in Southern California and the 15th year the team has spent all or at least part of their training camp in Oxnard. And get this, fans will be allowed to watch the workouts again, starting with the first practice on July 22nd. This will be to get the team ready for their Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio against the Pittsburgh Steelers on August the 5th as Drew Pearson gets his long overdue induction into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The Cowboys were robbed of the opportunity to train in Oxnard last year of the COVID-19 pandemic, forced the team to hold all of their camp at the Star in Frisco. We are learning more about the 4-year rookie contract the Cowboys' #1 draft pick Micah Parsons has just signed. It's worth over $17 million, comes complete with a $9,781,000 signing bonus, and according to FanDuel, has the greatest odds of becoming the NFL's Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year this coming season. If that happens, he would be the first member of the Cowboys to ever win that award, which dates back to 1967. Today was the day the Houston Texans were supposed to kick off their mandatory minicamp, but instead, new head coach David Culley decided to cancel, proclaiming there was enough attendance in the organized team activities to give his players a break before training camp. This despite most of the coaching staff is new and to the team, and Deshaun Watson is still a holdout. Many believe the real reason for canceling the mandatory team event was to avoid fining Watson for not appearing since he was held out of every other season practice so far. After the COVID-19 pandemic forced their cancellation last year, the Texas Special Olympics Summer Games are returning to Morgan's Wonderland surrounding facilities this September. The major announcement delivered this morning that will feature a 4-day competition at Morgan's Wonderland, new Morgan's Wonderland Sports Complex, Hero Stadium, Toyota Field, and Star, the South Texas Area Regional Soccer Complex.
It's only been 14 months, but it seems like it's been 14 years for many of our individuals with special needs. And so to have the Special Olympics Texas back here at Morgan's Wonderland and to bring people from all over the state, athletes, this is a big deal. And we're excited about it. It's been too long. We tried last year but just couldn't do it. And we tried earlier this year and it wasn't going to work. But now the timing is right and everybody's back and ready to go.
Great to see. The state Special Olympic Games begin on September the 19th. They run through the 22nd. And get this, it's free and open to the public to attend. Welcome back.
It is a great event, and it's great to see activity at Morgan's Wonderland.
I'm going to tell you right now, the athletes love it.
Yeah, I bet.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. We'll be right back.
It is a power grid that failed us in February, and now there are fears it could happen again. We're talking about the Texas power grid, and our guest for KSAT Q&A today is State House Representative Diego Bernal, former city councilman for San Antonio. Diego, thank you for joining us. You know, I am struck by the fact that Texas, great state, big state, energy producing state, has such a seemingly fragile power grid system that when it gets bitterly cold, it goes down. And now, you know, on days where it's not even triple digits, we're told to conserve. How can Texas be like this, but you have states like Arizona and Nevada and even New Mexico that deal with same extreme temperatures but don't seem to have a seemingly fragile power grid like we do?
Well, I think there are two answers to that. The first is that Texas is not part of the national grid. So those other states are part of a national grid, so they all rely on each other. They've got some sort of insurance by being interconnected, and we're not. We're on our own completely. And the truth is that now the national power grid won't have us. because we would have to spend a lot of money to get up to their standards. And if we didn't, we would actually bring them down. So it's not so much that we need them as much as they don't want us. The other part of the answer is that I think what you're seeing now with the conservation, even though we haven't hit 100 and we're only in June, is that these are leftover wounds from what we experienced in the winter storm. It's sort of a wound that hasn't healed yet. And what you're seeing is a sort of fragile nature of the grid now. They're still doing repairs left over from them, and some things didn't really get repaired properly or were sort of repaired but not completely. And now it's coming back to bite us. So we've got a ways to go.
And so some of that, it seems this issue with conservation that ERCOT is requesting right now, it's that twofold issue of, yes, it is hot outside, but also what they're calling forced generation outages. Is that what you're talking about in terms of repairs, things having to be taken offline right now to deal with what happened several months ago?
That's right. That's right. So the failures from the winter storm and the mechanical failures, the parts of the factories and the generations that broke, you can't repair those that quickly. These are giant pieces of machinery. These are very advanced pieces of technology. It's not a plug and play sort of situation. You've got to spend a lot of time and money to fix it. And even if we've fixed it to the point where we can operate, when you've got so soon afterwards a not a record high, but a hot temperature, what you're seeing is it's still fragile. We're still not all the way there. We're not all the way prepared, much less prepared for another winter storm or extreme heat. We're still in the process. And so the hot weather caught us when we're not all the way back. And, what's concerning is that, again, it's only June. We haven't hit triple digits. And normally in San Antonio, every summer we have at least 30 to 35 days over 100. So we've got a lot of work to do.
We're talking about more than weatherization here, though, right? When you're talking about the fact that there are certain standards that the national grid is on, that Texas doesn't come up to par with right now, is there an appetite at all in Austin to improve the power grid when it comes to the state legislature?
Yeah, in all fairness, the legislature did pass some legislation that was designed to update to some degree to weatherize and prepare the grid and the generators for events like the winter storm and very hot events. But the problem is that they don't have a lot of teeth. It's sort of like a strong suggestion, but they sort of left it up to the PUC, the body that got into a lot of trouble during the winter storm. They left it up to them to set the standards, to do enforcement, and to decide whether or not the industry has met the standards. This is on top of the fact that even for private power companies, the state, the public is going to foot the bill for a lot of those improvements. So there's sort of a will to do it, but there's not enforcement. And I'm hoping that this hot weather will force them to do it. I'm not saying they're going to do nothing, but I left very unsatisfied with the efforts, honestly.
So some of the standards that you're talking about that the rest of the country operates under are some of the same regulations that Texas lawmakers years ago wanted to avoid by keeping our power grid separate from the rest of the nation. And I have to say there's a long history that goes into that. And we have an episode of KSAT Explains on our website right now that really breaks that down if you want more information. So what do you think the answer here is? Because certainly the February winter storm confronted the entire state, lawmakers, with the fact that more needs to be done to keep the lights on, to keep the heat on. So if you're saying that what was passed in Austin this past session does not have teeth, what are the teeth that we need to get us in good shape?
I'm a firm believer that when it comes to health and public health, and in this case, we're talking about the way that human beings respond to extreme cold and extreme heat, that you don't gamble, that you do what's necessary. It might be more expensive. It might make people who are normally your friends in the oil and gas industry upset with you, but you do it to make sure that people are safe. So you don't give them a way out. You don't negotiate. You don't say if you want to. You say you have to. The state has the ability to do that, and we haven't used it. And so that's what I would do. I would make what is somewhat optional not an option, put them on a timetable. I think you can use some public money. I think if they're private companies, they should pay for some of that themselves. And then you just make them do it. We do it with everything else. So for example, if you're building a giant building, if you're building a skyscraper in San Antonio, you have to install the sprinklers to avoid fire, to put out fire. It's required. You don't make the state pay for sprinklers, you just do it. And we're very unforgiving about that. We say, you have to do this if you want to build here. I think that we provide the teeth, we provide the enforcement mechanism, and we just go. We stop negotiating, we stop playing nice. Oil and gas are not our enemy. And they have a very important role in the state, but at the same time, the well-being and the health of the people that we're responsible for, ourselves and our neighbors, has to come first.
Quick question, yes or no? Do you think there's a chance that the power grid will come up in a special session?
No, I don't. I hate to say that, but cynically, politically, if it did, after the legislation that already passed, because they did pass some, and there are some reforms that are coming. I just don't think they're enough. But if it were to come up again in a special session, it'd be an admission of defeat or mistake by leadership. And I just don't see them having the humility to do that. And that's just me being as honest with you as I can.
We're waiting to see what details may come about this potential special session. State Representative Diego Bernal, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back.
He was a pioneer, a visionary, a man remembered for his love of the LGBTQ+ community and his hometown of San Antonio. In just about 20 minutes, a live stream presentation of KSAT Explains will tell the story of Arthur Hap Veltman. He is the man behind the iconic Bonham Exchange, a successful gay nightclub that today welcomes anyone and everyone. Hap Veltman was a developer and an entrepreneur who wanted to create a safe space for the LGBTQ+ community, and he did that and more, leaving his mark in San Antonio along the Riverwalk, the Blue Star Arts Complex, the St. Mary's Strip.
There are those little pockets of culture, and that's the kind of thing that Hap created. Like with the country, it was gay culture. With the greenhouse, it was, San Antonio's downtown. Progressive business people and a lot of the progressive lawyers and also and then with the Blue Star, you had the whole art scene blossom there.
We dive into who Hap Veltman was and the impact he still has today on San Antonio through the Bonham Exchange and more tonight at 7 o'clock. That's when you can watch this episode of KSAT Explains in a live stream on KSAT.com as well as the KSAT TV app. Our cameras are also the first to go inside the Happy Foundation, a room full of history, so many personal memories, great stories. We hope you will join us tonight at 7.
Sounds like a great episode. All right, live cam outside. Whenever I feel really bad about our temperatures, I look at other spots around the country that are Las Vegas, Phoenix, even Chicago has been warmer than we've been.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, just a couple weekends ago, they were up near 100. Same with Minneapolis, and we were in the 80s here. Remember we had some of those pop-up downpours and even 70s one afternoon because of that rain. Anyway, this evening, we still have a few lingering pop-up showers out there, a few of them in Bexar County. That's why we have that 20%. So coverage is limited. There's some activity. We'll take a close look at that in a moment. 93 degrees right now. Mid-80s by 10 o'clock, warm through the night, and I think we'll start the day tomorrow in the mid-70s, which is close to average for this time of year. We'll have all the details on that tropical moisture that we're watching in the southern Gulf as well, and where that should go coming right up.
The White House has July 4th plans to celebrate more than just America's independence. Thousands of essential workers and military families will gather on the White House South Lawn this year to celebrate independence from the virus as well. The National Mall will also be open for traditional 4th of July fireworks.
White House officials encouraging state and local governments to host their own celebrations as well. July 4th, the milestone set by President Joe Biden in the fight against COVID. He said in March he was hopeful Americans would be able to gather to celebrate the holiday this year. He set a goal of 70% of residents in the U.S. receiving at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine by July 4th, though it doesn't look like we're going to reach that target.
As more and more of these events come back, doesn't it just mean so much more this year? It just feels more significant.
I'm going to admit, Fiesta officially starts on Thursday. We have a Fiesta special at 8 o'clock that night. Ursula and I will be down there live at 5 and 6. And I am watching the weather because it is usually warm
Ooh, and now
For Fiesta time, not quite this warm, maybe.
The June edition.
Yeah.
It's the June edition of Fiesta, but at least we're squeezing it in and getting in the events that we can, and we're going to make it rain some confetti. Yes,
And that confetti is going to really stick. If you know what I mean.
That's part of the point. Yep. It discolors your clothing and everything after a bit. Gotta love it. It's all part of the fun. More sun showers out there today. It's kind of like what we had yesterday. And we're looking at that Gulf moisture that's down in the southern Gulf, and we'll have an update on where that should go. And of course, temperatures just staying hot. It's that time of year. Let's get to the radar. And you look at it, we still have some activity out there. Some outflow boundaries are kickstarting some new showers that have recently developed. So that's one thing I really want to point out here is this new activity that has popped up, particularly even right here in Bexar County. Here's the big picture. That severe storm we had in Karnes County has weakened quite a bit. I'm going to start with that. It's not as strong as it once was. It's collapsed a bit, but still a few downpours, a little bit of lightning and thunder heading into Atascosa and Live Oak counties as well. Okay. Now we get closer to San Antonio, and just north of Bexar County, a few little downpours popped up in Kendall County, and even one right over Boerne at this hour, especially the northern edge of Boerne. Well, actually, most of Boerne getting hit by that moderate to heavy shower. Bergheim got clipped, now Timberwood Park, especially west of 281 there. So mostly Camp Bullis area, basically. Blanco Road, Camp Bullis. This is another nice downpour, good for the vegetation on Camp Bullis and some surrounding communities, of course. Not the best if you're driving in it, but you look within 410 and 1604, and right here, Windcrest over toward Hollywood Park. This is a new pop-up shower that developed from an outflow boundary that's slowly pushing to the southwest. I don't anticipate these to last all that long, but they will give a few folks a brief little burst of cooler air. And we're still watching this outflow boundary moving through Wilson County, headed into southeastern Bexar County. That could kickstart a few more showers in the coming, well, basically 15 to 45 minutes here, especially toward Elmendorf and up into downtown. So we're watching all these little factors as they come together. Some parts of San Antonio even picked up a third of an inch of rain from those downpours earlier. Here's a look at the big picture. Not a lot of activity across the state. Upper level high, it's over the Four Corners. And so we've got this northerly flow aloft. It opens the door for disturbances and then even just those pop-up afternoon showers like we have today. Fairly short-lived, but better than nothing. So watching this moisture in the southern Gulf of Mexico, Hurricane Center has it flagged as the likelihood of turning into at least a tropical depression. That's not going to be a surprise, especially once we get into Thursday, Friday time frame as it starts pushing northward. And the moisture with that is going to be moving along with it, of course. Right now, all indications are still that it's going to stay east of us. Here we go through time. We go Wednesday, Thursday. Becomes a little more organized at that time frame. There's a chance it could become a tropical storm, but basically what we're looking at here is a rainmaker that's moving from the southern Gulf northward toward Texas, and by Friday, Saturday, throwing some of that rainfall on shore. Maybe Matagorda Bay eastward toward Houston. Right now, the indications are it's still going to be just east of us. Of course, that could change, and we'll keep you updated. 93 degrees right now. Feels like 98 when you factor in the humidity. Uvalde's 92, 89 Kerrville, 92 Beeville, and Cotulla 98. Tomorrow, more of the same. Back to triple digits along the Rio Grande for high temperatures. No big changes, still noticeable humidity and a few of those pop-up sun showers in the afternoon, maybe a brief thunderstorm. And then into the weekend, we actually turn it up a little bit. We're looking dry and sunny with highs right around 97 by Sunday.
All right, thanks, Adam.
In case you missed it, coming up next. Here's today's ICYMI.
It is Tuesday, June 15th.
We have some breaking news on the far south side. The San Antonio Fire Department responding to the scene of a crash that involved a big rig. This is along State Highway 16 south out by Cameron's Way. It's right outside of Loop 410 inside 1604.
We are told one person was trapped in their truck. That person had to be rescued, then was taken to the hospital.
The San Antonio Fire Department also at the scene of another crash. This one on the north side. It's happening along Vance Jackson, not too far from I-10. We're told 2 people have been taken to the hospital from here. From what we can see, it appears a driver crashed into a bus stop there.
Low-income Americans can now register for the new child tax credit. The IRS now has a new online tool to help families who don't usually file tax returns register for the tax credit. The credit is only for the current tax year and is increasing to $3,600 for children under the age of 6. It will be worth $3,000 for children ages 6 to 18.
As more states reopen, the U.S. seeing more deadly cases. Today, the number of COVID-19 deaths have topped 600,000.
The CDC estimating about 10% of current U.S. infections were due to the Delta variant, which is now responsible for 90% of cases in the U.K.
Fiesta is set to kick off in just a few days. We've already launched our Fiesta theme newsletter. While the celebration is delayed and on a smaller scale, there are dozens of events still taking place. Our web team put together a list of activities. You can also expect a daily article every day Fiesta takes place to break down the events of the day. This will be available online at KSAT.com.